Good morning, and welcome to the Transportation Planning and Organizational Meeting. At this time, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll have a roll call at this time.
Commissioner Myers?
Here.
Mayor Ross?
Here.
Commissioner Owen?
Here.
Commissioner Wastel?
Here.
Commissioner Cohen?
Here.
Commissioner Kemp?
Here.
Councilmember Citro?
Here.
Councilmember Hurtak? Councilmember Maniscalco? Mayor Kilton?
Here.
Board Member Vaughn? Charles Klug?
Here.
Gina Evans?
Here.
Greg Slater?
Here.
Adelie LeGrand?
Here.
Planning Commissioner Soraya?
Here.
We do have an in-person quorum. Madam Chair, would you please call for a vote of consent for remote participation?
Okay, could we have a vote of consent for remote? And we can say aye if for that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been properly moved by Mayor Ross and second by Commissioner Kemp. Roll call vote, please. Can we do just aye? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion is carried. Let us approve the minute. Need a motion to approve the minutes for January 11, 2023 and January 25th, 2023.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Owen, second by Commissioner Kemp. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. And we're right into our public comments. The board welcomes comments from citizens about any issue or concern. Your opinions are valued in terms of providing input to the board members. However, it is requested at the same time when you address the board that comments are not directly, personally against a board member or staff member, but rather directed at the issues. This provides a mutual respect between the board members and the public. The board has set aside 30 minutes, 30-minute period in the this morning for public comments. So at this time, we have one person to speak for public comments. Rick Fernandez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Board. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. My name's Rick Fernandez out of Tampa Heights, and I'm speaking to you in my individual capacity at this moment. I incorporated my written comments by reference, and this is a summary. During the TPO special board meeting held January 25, a board member moved to withdraw the Reconnecting Communities grant application. The motion incorrectly stated that TPO staff had recommended the withdrawal. In fact, TPO staff recommended that the board, and I quote, consider withdrawal of the grant application, close quote. There was no recommendation from the staff to withdraw. The record reflected in the meeting minutes that you all just passed and the video is inaccurate and in need of correction. I would ask that the chair pass the gavel at the appropriate time and move that correction forward or defer to a board colleague to that end. My second issue has to do with the Boulevard Tampa concept that arose during your discussions. This is a vision that arose out of the neighborhoods that have been most negatively impacted by I-275 for 6 decades. While the concept is well known to many, Boulevard Tampa is unfamiliar to some of you, and perhaps the board's vote to withdraw the RCP grant application was in part secondary to that lack of familiarity. We are debating 2 competing visions for the I-275 corridor, one known very well, the other still in formation. Vision 1 involves highway expansion in perpetuity. That has been our normal now for 6 decades. Vision 2, including Boulevard Tampa, cannot be fully vetted in 3 minutes, but there is ample material in the public domain. And for those interested, community advocates capable of walking you through the basics. This interstate infrastructure was wrongfully placed. The wrong has been compounded year after year. Boulevard Tampa is simply one component central to envisioning an alternative future. But the vision would take years to manifest, most likely more years than I have left to live. None of you need fear the imminent destruction of the highway or the onslaught of untethered vehicles in our surface roads. We would first need to provide effective public transportation options focused on the movement of people rather than cars. And that clearly is not happening here anytime soon. But we can begin planning for that future today. A feasibility study was endorsed by this board in 2019. Nothing has been done. The action taken by this board on January 25 will cause further delay, but the idea will not die. The question for each of you, will you seek
Mr.
to mitigate
Fernandez, your time
the
is up.
wrongs
Thank you so
and
much for
mistakes
your,
of the past, or
Mr.
will you
Fernandez.
perpetuate them? Yes, ma'am, I heard you. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. And we appreciate your comments. At this time, we'll have committee reports and advance comments. Rick Fernandez, the chair of the CAC, and Davida Franklin.
Thank you, Chair. I just unmuted myself. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Yes.
Okay. Board members, this is your CAC report for the meeting held February 1, 2023, and now I am speaking on behalf of the committee. This was our second meeting at the new start time of 6 p.m. We met quorum easily in the room, and 4 members attended virtually. We also had a guest, Dr. Jim Davidson, in attendance. If approved here today, I understand he will be joining us on the CAC as a member next month via the appointment of Commissioner Wastel, and we certainly welcome him to the clan. For this meeting and going forward, we will institute a new meeting window of 2 hours from 6 to 8 in this case, instead of the previous window of 3 hours. The shortened time frame seems to be met with general approval by the members, and my hope is that it will encourage even more robust attendance in the future. Just as a side note, for those of you not as familiar with our activities as some, I would invite you to come and attend our meetings, even virtually, to see what it is we're all about. Our agenda closely resembled the one that is before you this morning. We had 2 action items, both of which were acted upon, and 3 status reports, 2 of which were addressed. The third status report, the Gandy Boulevard Bridge PD&E, will be addressed at our next meeting in March, which I believe will be a week before the item is actually presented to you. Action item 1, the CAC approved TIP amendments that will program funds for the Hart Heavy Maintenance Facility, lighting and resurfacing projects, I-4 truck parking, and EV charging infrastructure. All those items are before you on your agenda. You'll have an opportunity to review the same report that we did. Action item number 2. This addressed calendar year 2023 safety performance targets. Every year, this presentation causes discomfort among the committee members. I've been on the committee since 2017, and every year we have difficulty with this. This year was no exception. The consensus was one of general dissatisfaction with the county's historical safety performance. We were informed that targets are to be data-driven and achievable, but that did not keep members from suggesting a shift to more aspirational targets consistent with Vision Zero. The committee brainstormed a number of justifications for reducing the target numbers and ultimately focused on the annual fatalities target of 214. We ultimately passed an amended motion approving all the safety targets except for annual fatalities. In that category, we recommended a reduction from 214 to 200. With that, we asked staff to seek out data or previous studies to support that aspirational target. Also, collateral to this discussion, we learned the granular impact of losing sales tax funding. It was interesting. It turns out that with sales tax spending on top of existing spending, we might have anticipated a crash reduction of 3% each year, or for 2023. Without the sales tax funding, the reduction is closer to 1% in crash reductions. And it turns out that that 2% delta somehow translates to 4 extra fatalities for 2023. I can't begin to explain how those calculations are made, but in the arena of data-driven analysis, there was something particularly disturbing about focusing on those 4 lives, and I thought it was worth mention today. Our first status report was on the Gibsonton Drive PD&E study kickoff. That was informational only, and we had no questions or comments from the committee. Our final status report, which is not on your agenda, focused on your special meeting to reconsider the RCP grant application. Some members expressed disappointment that the committee was not offered an opportunity to adopt a position and present it to the board prior to your meeting on January 25. Following a lengthy discussion, we passed a motion expressing the committee's sense that the TPO board erred in its decision to withdraw the application from consideration. That concluded our business on February 1. We adjourned at 8 p.m. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to try to field them.
Any questions from Mr. Fernandez? Thank you so much for your report. Ms. Franklin?
Thank you.
Good morning, Davida Franklin, Hillsborough TPO, and here is your summary of committee reports and public comments. So before I begin, just to let you know that the Technical Advisory Committee did meet earlier this week, and their report was not included in your committee report that you received. So the summary that I'm giving you today serves as their committee report. So items pertaining to your action items, the TIP amendments for the new heart maintenance facility and lighting and resurfacing projects and some other projects was the TIP amendments were approved by the Technical Advisory Committee. That committee did note that there is no bike path along the corridor on State Road 60 for the new lighting, and perhaps that could be something that could be considered in a future project. They also questioned the cost of the truck parking spaces at the I-4 way stations because that project they considered could be cheaper because those parking spaces would be created at an existing way station. However, they did note that truck parking is more expensive than it may seem, and that the area where the additional spots are going, it may be a ditch. They also noted that the numbers seem in line with other projects around the country. Regarding the 2023 safety performance targets, the Technical Advisory Committee noted that it's good to see design elements being used for safety and that good trends are going down for the most part. They discussed an increase in motorcycle and pedestrian fatalities and a possible correlation to increased motorcycle driver or bicyclist ridership due to additional facilities or trails and paths. They did ask if the 2023 targets could be lowered, and they did ask as well why 2021 seemed like such an abnormality. They also noted that it would be relevant to show how many vehicles and motorcycles are on the road in the numbers presented, because it seemed that the number of actual vehicles on the road is increasing. Pertaining to your status reports, for the Gibsonton Drive PD&E study kickoff, the Technical Advisory Committee noted that the corridor there is very busy and the intersection at US 301 and Gibsonton Drive is very congested. They're concerned that the 11-foot lanes may not be enough because there's a Caterpillar facility there and they bring in a lot of oversized vehicles. They also noted that the interchange has a lot of customers that walk and bike due to the Walmart close by, and they noted that the Walmart of Gibsonton in that area is one of the higher ridership stops for heart. So for your summary of public comments, these comments were received through email and social media. On social media and through email, we did receive comments from about a dozen community members who were concerned about the decision to withdraw the Reconnecting Communities grant application. We did not receive any comments regarding today's Transportation Improvement Program amendments. And please note that these attachments and additional comments from public commenters are included in the email that Cheryl Wilkening sent to the board yesterday evening. And this concludes my report. Now Ms. Alden will give a new update on the policy meeting that just occurred. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin. Ms. Alden?
Yes, ma'am. The Policy Committee recommended the board approve an item on your consent agenda, the amendment to the General Planning Consultant contract with AECOM, and then had an in-depth discussion about the Executive Director recruitment process, which the chair would like to discuss with you.
Thank you, Ms. Alden, and good morning to everybody again. So the Policy Committee had what I think was very productive and robust discussion on this issue. Today's decision point before the board really involves one thing, and that is whether to take this task on in-house with our staff or whether to seek the assistance of a consultant. So that's really what needs to be decided today. Once that decision is made by the board, then before our next meeting in March, if it was decided to go in-house, then we would come back with a plan, a draft for consideration for this board to adopt, which would detail the timeline and the methodology and the composition of interview boards and how that search would be conducted for the board to consider that in March. If, in fact, the board decides to seek an outside consultant, then a similar thing would occur. We would come back with, these are the parameters and how we're going to go out for RFP or RFQ for the identification of an outside consultant. So after some very robust and, like I said, productive discussion, the Policy Committee unanimously voted to suggest to this entire body that we conduct this in-house using the staff of the Planning Commission, Meghan, Betourney specifically. And there were several reasons that we did this. And some things that that particularly Commissioner Wostel pointed out that maybe we need to be careful of that we incorporated into this. But our recommendation to you is that we conduct this in-house. And the reasoning was for several things. One is the window of cost for going to an outside consultant seems to be between $25,000 and $40,000. And we thought that Ms. Betourney has pretty much the same skill sets and the same ability to do what the consulting firm could do for us. The other large consideration was the time that this would take. Although Ms. Alden's retirement in November seems like it's off in the distant future, it really is not. And it will probably take 3 months conservatively to identify and secure a contract with a recruiting firm, which will significantly delay the amount of time that can be spent on actual recruitment. And so there's that factor. There's also the consideration that this is a kind of a specialty niche, which, as Commissioner Wostel pointed out, can be an advantage or a disadvantage, but there aren't hundreds of thousands of people out there in the country who are going to have the credentials to assume this position. There's a relatively finite community of people that have those credentials. And so we should have the ability through Ms. Betourney to reach those people on our own without necessarily needing the assistance of a consultant. The other factor that we talked about was much easier lines of communication. This board, by its very nature, is a little difficult to get together because we all come from different organizations, so we're really an organization of organizations, so it's really kind of hard to communicate. Much easier, we think, to communicate with a member of our county staff as opposed to a consultant that might talk to me as chair of the policy committee or Commissioner Myers as chair of the TPO board, And then we have to try to communicate that to everybody to get back to, it just gets a little cumbersome. We think, the policy committee, we think that this board would be well-suited to take a vote to decide to go in-house, and that if the board in fact does that, we would be prepared to come back at the next meeting with a draft of the methodology and timeline for consideration.
So that's the recommendation from the policy, is to have staff in-house to handle the recruitment process for the executive director. Any comments, Ms. LeGrand?
I was just going to say so moved.
Okay.
Sounds good and
Second.
thorough.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. LeGrand and second by Commissioner Kemp. Let me take a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Mayor Ross?
Yes.
Commissioner Owen?
Yes.
Commissioner Wastel?
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Kemp?
Yes.
Councilmember Citro?
Yes.
Mayor Kilton?
Yes.
Charles Klug?
Yes.
Gina Evans?
Yes.
Greg Slater?
Yes.
Adelie LeGrand?
Yes.
Planning Commissioner Soraya?
Yes.
And the motion passes 13-0.
Thank you so much. So now we'll move to our consent agenda.
I have a point of order real quick.
Yes.
Is this the proper place, Ms. Alden, for me to bring up that I have secured my TPO CAC member, Ms. Southwell? Okay. So just for the
Yes,
record,
please.
yeah.
And so we have, we did update the item on the website to add Commissioner Owens' nominee. That update happened after the agenda went out, so we just wanted to draw that to everyone's attention.
Okay. Okay. So we have committee appointments. That was still,
That's for committee appointments, correct?
okay. Okay. And then now we'll move to item B. We've already pretty much discussed that. Okay, our action items.
Madam Chair, do you need a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes.
I move to approve
Second.
the
Thank you.
consent agenda.
Who seconded?
I did, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Mayor Ross, second by Commissioner Watson. Could we take a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Mayor Ross?
Yes.
Commissioner Owen?
Yes.
Commissioner Wastel?
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Kemp?
Yes.
Councilmember Citro?
Yes.
Mayor Kilton?
Yes.
Charles Klug?
Yes.
Gina Evans?
Yes.
Greg Slater?
Yes.
Adelie LeGrand?
Yes.
Planning Commissioner Soraya?
Yes.
The motion passes 13-0.
Thank you so much. Now we're moving to our action items. Roger Matthew. Okay, he's here.
Morning, TPO members.
Good morning.
I'm Roger Matthew, TPO staff. We have 7 amendments to bring to you today. The new heart maintenance facility, the resurfacing, lighting and resurfacing projects, I-4 truck parking, and the EV charging infrastructure. Next slide, please. These are the 7 amendments that are being requested by FDOT, showing the additional funding for the fiscal year 23 TIP. Next slide. The new heart maintenance facility, this is HART's top priority. Here's the timeline of the funds that were approved and transferred. Next slide. So the FTAT code on the right side of the slide means the Federal Transit Administration transfer. The top portion of the slide shows that as of June 2022, 9.2 million in the FTA funds were programmed for bus replacements. The lower portion of the slide is showing that the 9.2 million are removed from the bus replacements because they are now being transferred, excuse me, to the heart maintenance facility. Next slide, please. The top portion of the slide shows 4 million being rolled forward in 2023 to fund the heart maintenance facility, combined with the 9.2 million we just talked about. Accounts for the sum total of 13.2 million on the ledger at the bottom. And next slide. The next two projects in this TIP amendment relates to the two weigh stations along I-4 out in Sefner in need of some additional truck parking spaces. At both stations, there are currently 12 parking spaces, and this project will fund an additional 5 at each station. And this aerial view shows where the additional 5 spaces will go. To accommodate that, the pavement will need to be reinforced to accommodate the weight of the trucks, and then just needs to be restriped. Next slide. The top portion of this slide is showing the $2.5 million in additional funds for the eastbound weigh station, and the bottom portion is showing $2.2 million in addition for the westbound weigh stations. Both the projects are exactly the same. The $250,000 cost difference is due to minor locational differences. Next slide. The State Road 60 lighting project from US 41 to US 301. This will be new lighting in the corridor to enhance visibility for all users. Most of the corridor from East 50th Street to US 301 is unlit, so TECO will be installing new poles along majority of the segment. At all other locations along the corridor where there are poles, the existing fixtures will be upgraded with the new LED lighting, with the exception being the bridge over the Tampa Bypass Canal, at which the poles cannot be attached, so no lighting will be provided. And also, not part of this TIP amendment, but just as an FYI, this segment is also scheduled for resurfacing fiscal year 24. So with these two projects, the character should be changed dramatically over the next few years. Next slide. Here we're showing the addition of $711,000 for fiscal year 23. Next slide. South Del Mabry resurfacing is a milling and resurfacing project. The corridor stretches just north of the entrance to MacDill Air Force Base up to Ballast Point Boulevard. Next slide. $50,000 will be added to the fiscal year 23. This project will begin later this year and is expected to be completed in 2024. Next slide. The last amendment here is will provide funding to install electrical vehicle charging infrastructure along I-4 at locations to be determined. FDOT District 7 will open this project up to proposals and will allow the process to inform the locations and number of chargers, type, and connections to be installed. Next slide. This slide shows the addition of GFEV funds for fiscal year 23. And next slide. And as part of our public engagement requirements in January, we published a newsletter describing the amendments. We published informational flyers on social media, published a web page, and posted signs on the ground near the locations of the affected projects. Next slide, please. All these amendments were brought forth to the TAC and CAC. Both were passed. We are recommending approval of the 7 amendments to the fiscal 23 TIP. Next slide. And that's all I have for you today. Any questions or discussions?
Any questions from Commissioner Watson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. When you said that the money was being moved from one position to another, are you releasing it to each individual organization? That slide went really quick. It was early on in the presentation. Is that what you were stating? I'm just trying to.
Well, it's being removed from the bus replacements to the heart maintenance facility.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. We're at a strategic advantage because 5 of us sit on the heart board. So we just had a pretty big briefing about the current budget state of heart. So we know that information, but the other board members don't know that. So I was just curious it was a pretty concerning report for the other board members that weren't there. So I'm just making sure I understand where the money is moving. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. LeGrand?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So my comment is on the heavy maintenance facility. I do want to point out something, and it may connect to what Commissioner Wassel said. We're not getting new money. We're just moving money from one bucket to the other. So the dollars that were in the tip before this discussion were for bus replacement. What we're doing now through the partnership with Ms. Alden and her team working with us to find funding to move the heavy maintenance facility forward is that we agreed to transition or move money from bus replacement to helping us build a new facility. So it's a net gain of $0, but it does give us the opportunity to move forward with a project that is extremely important. So I did want to provide some clarity as far as what's going on. So what that means is we still have, as HART, we still have to find the same dollar amount to replace vehicles because we also need to continue to replace our vehicles so that we can operate in a state of good repair. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Any other comments from board members? I don't see anyone online either.
Just one real quick, Madam Chair.
Mr. Slater? Yes.
In my previous life, I did one of these heavy maintenance facilities in Baltimore, and I can't stress enough how much these facilities add to the on-time reliability of your bus fleet, but they also help with your recruitment. One of the things that we saw in Baltimore is people wanted to come to work there because they wanted to work in this bright new facility, and they were really competing for that. So these types of facilities don't always get a lot of attention out on the system, but they're critical for the operations of the system.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, we need a motion.
Second.
It's been properly moved in by Commissioner Kemp and second by Councilman Citro. Gail, can you please do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Myers?
Yes.
Mayor Ross?
Yes.
Commissioner Owen?
Yes.
Commissioner Wastel?
It died, but yes.
Commissioner Cohen?
Yes.
Commissioner Kemp?
Yes.
Councilmember Citro?
Yes.
Mayor Kilton?
Yes.
Charles Klug?
Yes.
Gina Evans?
Yes.
Greg Slater?
Yes.
Adelie LeGrand?
Yes.
Planning Commissioner Soraya?
Yes.
The motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. And now we'll have hear a report from Connor McDonald.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Connor McDonald, TPO staff. I'm here to present the 2023 safety performance targets. Next slide, please. So the 2012 Federal Moving Ahead for Progress and the 21st Century Act, or now the Infrastructure and Investment and Jobs Act, requires MPOs to set performance targets related to the transportation system and its safety. The legislation creates a streamlined, performance-based, and multimodal program to address the many challenges facing the U.S. transportation system, and there are 6 categories of targets at this time. Next slide, please. So for 2023, we'll be updating many of the targets, with safety being this month, potentially greenhouse gas emissions next month, pavement and bridge condition and travel time reliability, and also transit asset management in the April to May timeline, and Public Transportation Agency's safety plan later in the year. Next slide, please. Thank you. For today's safety performance targets, there are 7 targets to be set. Fatalities on a 5-year rolling average, fatality rate against vehicle miles traveled, number of serious injuries on a 5-year rolling average, those serious injuries against vehicle miles traveled, and the number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries on a 5-year rolling average are all required targets. The Hillsborough TPO has elected to set 2 additional targets, being the number of fatalities and the number of motorcycle fatalities on a 5-year rolling average. And before presenting, I'll reference the methodology outlined in your agenda packet. So the targets represent recent trends and an applied 1% reduction factor. So this reduction factor represents the annual reduction achievable given existing funding as identified in the Vision Zero investment program and the 2045 LRTP. So this data-driven, realistic approach not only follows the original legislation, but is highlighted as a Federal Highway Administration best practice. Next slide, please. So to get into the targets, as many of you may remember, in 2021, there was an all-time high of 255 fatalities. In 2022, there were 219 fatalities. And while this is a significant drop, we recognize that 219 fatalities is still a great loss. So using previous years as a measurement of trend and then applying a 1% reduction factor each year, we're recommending a realistic data-driven target of no more than 214 fatalities for 2023. Next slide, please. For fatalities on a 5-year rolling average, we've predicted the average for calendar year 2023, which contains that higher year of 2021, the 255 fatalities mentioned before, and applied that 1% reduction factor. So because this is a 5-year rolling average, it contains those higher years and therefore represents a higher targets as you're seeing a trend upwards. But if we're able to continue the downward trend that we saw in 2022, we will see a reduction in this rate as we move into further 5-year sets. Next slide, please. For a fatality rate per 100 million vehicle miles traveled on a 5-year rolling average, we're seeing an increase again due to those previous years. However, the continued trend of lower fatalities will likely and hopefully bring this number down in future years. We're recommending a realistic data-driven target of no more than 1.56 here. Next slide, please. For motorcycle fatalities, we saw a significant increase. This increase averaged with the previous 4 years, and the applied reduction factor leaves us with a realistic data-driven target of no more than 40.21. Next slide, please. For annual serious injuries, we're seeing a downward trend since the 2017 average. With the reduction factor, we're recommending a target of no more than 1,084 serious injuries in calendar year 2023. Next slide, please. For serious injuries compared to 100 million vehicle miles traveled on a 5-year rolling average, we're also seeing a reduction. Here, we're recommending a target of no more than 7.56. Next slide, please. The next slide shows non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. Non-motorized primarily refers to bicycles and pedestrians. We have seen an increase in these crashes, and the 5-year rolling average represents that increase. We are recommending a target with that reduction factor of no more than 241 in the 5-year average. Next slide, please. For our report card, you see that we met 2 of the 7 targets that were set last year, and I'll leave this slide up for a second so you can review. Next slide, please. With that, I'd like to share 2 takeaways. So one, although several targets were not met, 2022 showed a decrease in fatalities and serious injuries, and also motorcycle fatalities and non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries did see upward trends. Next slide, please. So considering that, we're sharing some local relation implementation examples. So in the MPO and local government toolbox, we can design and prioritize safety projects in the capital improvement plans. For the TIP, we can prioritize projects that are lower cost and or shovel ready. In addition, the TPO has a speed management action plan, of which some of the recommendations are to design self-enforcing roadways, meaning narrow travel lanes, roundabouts, and speed humps, setting and communicating safe speed limits, and enforcing safe speed limits. As far as physical implementation, we have been working on several safety projects with local jurisdictions, so Bullard Parkway and Temple Terrace, Collins Street and Plant City, Havana Avenue in the city of Tampa, Sheldon Road in the unincorporated Hillsborough County, not to mention the nearly $40 million in Safe Streets for All grants announced last week for the county and city of Tampa together. Next slide, please. So here are the 2023 proposed performance targets. For annual actual fatalities, no more than 214. Fatalities on a 5-year rolling average, no more than 224. Motorcycle fatalities on a 5-year rolling average, no more than 40.21. Serious injuries on a 5-year rolling average, no more than 1,084. Non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries, no more than 241. Fatality rate per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, no more than 1.56. And serious injury rate per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, no more than 7.56. Next slide, please. And the recommended action today is to approve the calendar year 2023 safety performance targets. And I'll be here for any comments or questions.
Ms. LeGrand?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Great report. I do have a couple of questions, and it's probably just for clarity for my own edification. The 5-year rolling average, is that required from the feds, or is that something that we, as a TPO staff, identified as a metric?
The 5-year rolling average is required for those of the targets set. The 5-year rolling average is required.
Okay, so we're showing that the 5-year rolling average went down, but for the year, the fatalities increased. Right? On that slide, we're showing the first row shows 2022, that it went from, I have it here.
So in 2021, the fatalities were 255, and then in 2022, the fatalities were 219. So I believe
It shows 212 was the target, and the actual was 219. And then it says target met no. I'm looking at the report card. I don't have a slide number on my
Thank you, Cheryl.
page number 13. Thank you.
Yes.
So on the report card, it says the first row is fatalities. 2022 target is 212. The actual is 219. Target met no. But then the next row, it says that the 5-year was 224. The actual was 217, and the target met was yes. So for me, I'm just trying to understand, we're crediting ourselves as a yes, but for the actual year, it was a no. So I just wanted to paint the picture that even though the second row was saying yes, it's because it's a 5-year average, and somewhere along the 5 years we went down, but last year we didn't. So I do think it's important, if we're really looking at a net, reduction in fatalities, that we don't, I don't want to say we don't pay too much attention to, but we understand the nuance in row 2 versus row 1. And then my other question was, how are we defining serious injuries? Because again, from a perspective that is not as close to this data, if our fatalities increase, but we're saying our serious injuries decreased, what is the definition of a serious injury, to at least give a little context of what we're actually, measuring there?
Right.
Thank you.
A common definition of serious injuries is incapacitating injuries, so life-changing injuries.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. LeGrand. Commissioner Kemp?
Thank you. This is always so terrible to be looking at and seeing it increasing and not decreasing. I had one just technical question. I thought we didn't get reports distinguishing, but I guess we do, between those killed in Hillsborough County on our roads per category, like pedestrian, bicyclist, motorcycle, and car crash. Do you have? Can you, Ms. Alden, just address that?
We do have those numbers available. In fact, I think Connor looked them up for a reporter last week. You don't happen to have that, do you?
I don't have it on me. I can say that I don't want to give you an estimate and be incorrect, but I can certainly provide that.
That's okay. I thought we didn't have that available, that somehow it wasn't reported. I thought I remember asking about it, and it wasn't reported out of the coroner's office in that way. So I don't know where I had that impression, but I've had it for a while. So that's why I wanted to ask, because we did a breakout here of motorcyclists, which I don't think I've seen in past years. This is, just really terrible news. And one, I've always known that we were pretty much, from what I could tell over the years, number 2 in the nation for the highest number of fatalities and incapacitating accidents or crashes or pedestrians, bicycles, people getting killed, fatalities in Hillsborough County, that we were number 2 in the nation year after year after year. You know, I'm not sure where we go with that. I think we're, you know, working on our streets, but we need to just keep in this direction and put it on steroids somehow to do and to be paying attention to what is happening and the deaths and fatalities that are happening on our streets. I would say that I was just reading a Times article, and I saw a statistic that I had never seen during these meetings that I thought was interesting, because I thought we were number 2, but this is, and I found the Times article, and this is where we were just awarded $39.7 million by the federal government. But they say Hillsborough County had 219 traffic fatalities, including pedestrians and bicyclists, in 2022. The county has the highest traffic fatality rate per capita. I've never seen it broken out per capita among large counties in the U.S., the Federal Transportation Department said. So I've never seen that per capita. And the fact that I've always thought we were number 2, which is horrible enough, but this says we're number 1, actually. I don't, what is the distinction between that, or are we going to be looking at number 1 this year?
So I think the number 2 statistic that you were citing comes from some previous reports. They're called the Mean Streets reports, and they focus primarily on walking and bicycling. And so for a long time, we were ranking number 2 after Orlando. We've bounced around a little bit as they've kind of changed the methodology, but we've stayed in the top 10 in the country on that Mean Streets report. So that is focusing on walking and bicycling. The other number that you cited was all crashes. So including the vehicle crashes, we're also very high in severe crashes that are vehicular.
And for the record, and I guess it's the Mean Streets report, year after year, number 1 has been Orlando. This is in the entire nation. We're not talking about Florida. Has been Orlando, Orange County. Number 2 has been us. And 7 of the top 10 jurisdictions in the entire nation for pedestrian and bicyclists and car crash fatalities has been in Florida. 7 of the top 10 in the entire nation. We have a really serious problem here. It's a continual problem. So I just do this to urge us to be doing everything we can. And I'll just say for the record too, one of the things that brings great safety to places and improves streets is transit. That's one of the things that happens, that when you transform a street and you do good transit, it goes together with the good walkability, with the improvements, with the design differences, with the crosswalks, with the places for people to move. Even on some place like Nebraska Avenue, which is right in the city, which people are crossing all the time. I mean, I was just driving it the other day, and a young woman was running across the street. She was going to stay in the middle in the little island there that's marked by, a brick doesn't rise or anything. And so she stood there and was going to wait for me to go so she could go by, but I didn't do that. I just stopped my car. That's what I'll do if I can do that, and let her walk across, and she was very grateful. But I thought, gosh, she's just walking across right in the middle here with traffic going in both ways. And then I went for a really, 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 really long time before there was any crosswalk for her to have gone on. And that's not the busiest street. That's not the most dangerous street. You can usually get away with doing that there. But we're just in a world of hurt and are desperately in need of alternative choices for people, including transportation, including trails, including places for bicycles to safely move, including all kinds of alternatives, and for people to be able to walk without getting killed. So I was just, it's just depressing to hear these again. For the uninitiated, I thought I'd just emphasize those points, but we just have to keep on pushing as far and as much as we can to make our streets safer and to do what we can.
Thank you, Mayor Ross.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief because I know we have other business, but Mr. McDonald, thank you for your report. And nothing that I'm about to say has anything to do with you. It's about the data. I know in government that we often have to do things that are required by statutes or accreditation standards or something, and so we just have to kind of perfunctory do them. In my mind, this is one of those things, and I can certainly now understand Mr. Fernandez's struggle with this and the CAC struggle with this report, because I too am struggling with this report. Truthfully, and again, this is not, you're tasked with doing it. I would have done it the same way, except probably not as good. This is, to my mind, a very hollow report. I don't see any value in this report whatsoever. All we are doing is taking historical data and tracking it. We're plotting historical data and saying, okay, well, if that trend continues for the next 12 months, then that number will be X. So we'll set the target at 10 below X. And if we get that target, we won, right? We're in the yes. Look at us. We're terrific. We got a bunch of yeses. Did we meet our target? Yeah, we did, because 10 less people died, 10 fewer people. The number's drawn out of nothing. This is a completely hollow number. And these are people's lives. And so we're saying, okay, 241 is what we expect next year. If we come in at 238, we're going to file a report and say we're wonderful. There's 238 people that died on our streets. This is not wonderful. And so I know we have to do this. It's a shame that we have to waste so much of our valuable time to do this, because I think this report is a perfect example of government bureaucracy that serves absolutely no legitimate purpose for anybody. So if there are other people that want to comment, otherwise I would just vote to approve it so we can move on.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. Councilman Citro.
Thank you very much. The report is welcome, but I know that there are two people on this panel that ride motorcycles, and I'm not happy with those reports. Our target is Vision Zero. And I know that the committee that I chair, Livable Roadways, we asked this panel that in everything we do, Vision Zero should be number one. Now, I'm asking you, Mr. Connor, I saw a couple things up in there. Tools in the toolbox, shovel-ready things that could be done. On all roadways, with the exception of the expressway and of course our highways, lowering the speed limit, I know will save excuse my language, heck of a lot of lives. Is that a shovel-ready project, changing a sign from say 45 to 30? Can this panel see, and I'll spit it out, within the city limits of Tampa, reduce bodily injury, reduce deaths to walkers, bicyclists, motorcyclists, people driving cars by lowering the speed limit by 10 miles an hour? Is that shovel-ready? Can we do it that way?
So the shovel-ready projects refer to the TIP, like construction projects. Speed limit reduction is not something that we see in the TIP. I'm not sure what the capacity would be for implementing speed reduction. Is there something you can add to that, Johnny or Beth?
Madam Chair, I didn't want to take this long, but thank you for the time.
Sure. Johnny.
Johnny Wong, TPO staff. Councilman, your point's well taken. Reducing speed limits, I believe, has to follow a specific process at the state level. So while we agree that the posted speed limits are way too high virtually all across Hillsborough County, what's within our toolbox, what we can do to make an impact is to design roads so that folks don't feel comfortable driving beyond the speed limit. And really, that's what's more effective than just dropping the number by 10, 15, 20 on the sign, right? So we've worked very closely with City of Tampa staff over the years. I know we brought forward a number of very important and effective safety projects and prioritize those in the TIP program funds so that you can execute. We're working on doing the same thing right now. We just had a great meeting with them last week. So we hope to yield the benefits of those construction projects in future years, whereas posted speed limit is a little bit more of an administrative process. Does that answer your question?
Yes and no. I guess my point was a $100 sign is a heck of a lot less cost than a multi-million road dieting. And in my opinion, will be just as effective. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Wastel, you had your light on earlier, or you didn't?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. Commissioner Kemp, we'll give you two minutes.
I'll move
to wrap up.
approval,
Okay.
but I want to say also, I understand what Mayor Ross is saying, but I'll say this. This has focused our attention on this in one way. We've had a lot of projects that have moved from recognizing this. And I think in my first couple years here, it really wasn't, Vision Zero was new to me when I came to serve on this body, and it was kind of probably just unfolding as an awareness. And so it's been an important driver of a lot of things that work that the TPO has done, including identifying high crash corridors, identifying dangerous places, looking at our schools, walking to school safety programs. And I do want to commend Ms. Alden for making this such a focus of our attention. And this is an exercise required by the federal government, and and we're doing it, and I understand exactly what you're saying in that regard, but it has, I think it's kind of like a reckoning that we take each year of where we are, and that's why, bringing up anything we can and all the things we work on during the year, this is kind of looking at why we do it and what drives it. So as uncomfortable, and I understand exactly what you're saying, that it is, it's warranted, I think, to take note.
Thank you, Commissioner Kemp. We have a motion by Commissioner, yes, I'm sorry.
So
Ms.
just
LeGrand?
quickly, I just wanted to add, and I pride myself in not being redundant, so I apologize here. Just when we look at the 23 proposed performance targets, two things that stand out to me. One, the target for the 5-year rolling average for annual fatalities is the same number. And then two, the 5-year average for motorcycle fatalities is higher than what we hit in this last cycle. So I don't know if there's an opportunity to reduce those numbers, but especially for motorcycle, it went up.
Right. So the 5-year rolling average with higher numbers in those 5 years will represent the higher predicted number, and then we apply that reduction factor. So with the reduction factor, the 5-year rolling average is higher because of those 5 years combined.
I understand, but should our target be set to reflect? I think that's what some of the conversation is. Like, our target is being set to say this is the direction we're going. We're not going to put any effort into reducing the numbers. We're just presenting where we think we're going to land and saying that's our target. Whereas just, the nuance of the word target should be that we're looking to reduce these numbers and we're targeting something that's realistic, but it's not, we're trying to do better than where we see the forecast to go. I hope I'm being clear, but.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Madam Chair, I'd like to second Commissioner Kemp's motion.
Okay. A motion by Commissioner Kemp and second by Mayor Ross. We don't need a roll call vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
And now we're moving to our status report. Ashley Hensel.
Good morning. My name is Ashley Hensel. I'm with the Florida Department of Transportation. I'm the project manager on this PD&E study I'm going to present for you today. This is our kickoff presentation for our Gibsonton Drive PD&E study from Fern Hill Drive to US 301. We're doing this project in coordination with Hillsborough County. Next slide, please. Gibsonton Drive is approximately 0.9 miles long. This is an important east-west connection between I-75 and US 301. This project is looking to increase capacity and address and enhance safety issues. Next slide. The purpose of this study is to address future roadway capacity issues as well as improve safety conditions. We're looking to accommodate future traffic volumes for the future year of 2045. This segment experiences high crash rates, approximately 6 times the statewide average. Next slide, please. This is the existing typical section. The roadway is currently a 4-lane roadway with 2 lanes in each direction. There are also turn lanes throughout the corridor on both the outside and the inside. There are 4-foot paved shoulders and 5-foot sidewalks on both sides with some gaps on the south side. Next slide, please. We're looking at a proposed typical section that includes a 6-lane roadway, which would be 3 lanes in each direction. We're looking at 11-foot travel lanes with curb and gutter on the outside. We're also looking at filling in sidewalk gaps on the south side of the roadway. And we're coordinating with Hillsborough County to determine if we're going to have 6-foot sidewalks, wider sidewalks on both sides, bike lanes, shared use paths. So we're working with Hillsborough County to finalize that typical section. We do anticipate additional right-of-way at some intersections for the turn lane improvements, as well as for off-site stormwater ponds. Next slide, please. Like I said, this corridor experiences more than 6 times higher than the statewide average for crashes. We also have more than 3 times higher than the statewide average for crashes at intersections. Next slide, please. This is a heat map of where those crashes have taken place. As you can see, US 301 and the Gibsonton intersection experienced the highest number of crashes. We did have 2 fatal crashes in the last 5-year period. Rear-end crashes make up 47% of the total crashes. Wet weather crashes make up 10% of the crashes, and dark lighting conditions make up about 4%. Next slide, please. Our study is just getting underway, but we will be looking at stormwater management, including floodplain compensation sites and stormwater ponds. We'll also be looking at our environmental effects, which include natural resources, cultural resources, social and economic resources, as well as physical resources. Next slide, please. We will be doing public engagement throughout the course of this project. We sent out study kickoff newsletters. Those were mailed in December of 2022. We will be holding a public hearing towards the end of this year in the 4th quarter of this year, and we'll be sending out public hearing announcements closer to that date. We'll also be holding small group meetings throughout the corridor, kind of as an as-needed basis. And we do have a project website that will be updated throughout the course of the study. Next slide, please. So where are we in the process? Like I said, we're just getting underway with our evaluation, our engineering concepts, and then our environmental analysis, and we'll be holding the public hearing in the 4th quarter of this year. Next slide, please. This is our project website where you can visit to find updated project information, as well as my contact information if you have any questions on the study. Next slide. And I can take any questions now as well.
Commissioner Kemp.
Thank you. Did you say there's 6 times the statewide average of crashes?
Yes.
And then what did you say fatalities was for the last 5 years?
2.
2? So I just remember the area of East Fowler Avenue for 5 years was 9 bicycle and pedestrian fatalities. So these crashes, even though they're 6 times the statewide average, are, I know you said a lot of back end, rear end, but so these are not as they don't result in the kinds of fatalities and incapacities of, for instance, Fowler Avenue.
I suppose so.
I'm just trying to get a gauge on it. And I wanted to make sure that that's what I heard. But, and I imagine too that there's not very many pedestrians and bicyclists there. It's more a car crash.
Yeah, and the 2 fatalities were not bicyclists or pedestrians.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Citro?
No, ma'am, I apologize, forgot to turn off my mic.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? Anyone? Yes, Ms. Alderman.
If I could just add something to, in response to your comment and question, Commissioner Kemp, this particular segment is a very short segment. And so when we are ranking our severe crash corridors, we are calculating those severe crashes per mile. And so this did show up. Didn't this show up in our top 20 list for Vision Zero? And again, Vision Zero is all types of severe crashes. But yeah, because of the short length of this corridor, that's why you're seeing only 2 deaths.
I appreciate, thank you. I appreciate that clarification. It's really good to be able to put these things in perspective and understand. That's why I'm asking.
Thank you so much for giving us a status report.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll have our Executive Director report. Okay, Ms. Alderman.
Thank you so much. And so I've listed a couple of things on your agenda that I wanted to mention. So last month, we had a status report. I'm not bringing that back to you today, but the backup for that is in your agenda packets. I just wanted to highlight for you that the multimodal level of service report is something that is available to all of your staff as a resource. What that means is that we have calculated the level of service for driving, for walking, for bicycling, and for bus service on all of the major roadways in all of the jurisdictions of the county. And so that is available online, and we are also happy to prepare customized reports for your staff if that's helpful to you. Our 2022 State of the System report hits some of the performance measures that we've talked about, not only safety, which is required to be looked at once a year, but also state of good repair and travel time reliability. We will actually be coming back to those 2 topics in May when we hit our timeline for reviewing where we'll be in 2 years and 4 years on state of good repair and travel time reliability. So we'll be bringing that back at that time. And I certainly appreciate your comments about the federal requirements. The federal government does not require you to prioritize your dollars in specific ways. That is up to this governing board to make those decisions. But they do require us to look at particular things, and this is how they push us in that direction. Following one of the follow-up actions from the non-discrimination plan that was adopted by this board about 1.5 years ago was evaluating our compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. This is primarily an administrative step, and so we're not bringing that back to you for an action, but wanted to let you know that we did finish that self-evaluation, and I did not identify any red flag areas, but basically identified some transition steps to make sure all of the documents on our website are available to the visually impaired and that kind of thing. And I can give you more details. Next month, I would like to bring to our policy committee an in-depth discussion of a request from our neighboring MPOs, particularly the Pinellas MPO, would like to come back to the topic of should we merge the MPOs in Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Pasco counties. So that will come up at the Tri-County meeting at the end of March. That's March 24th. It'll be in Pasco County. There is a push by both Pinellas and Pasco representatives to have that meeting in person only, not have virtual participation for that meeting. You all haven't given me any direction on that, but let me know if that's of concern to you. I'd like to spend our March meeting of the Policy Committee going over what are the expectations for regional planning and coordination. The law does provide for more than one MPO in an urbanized area if it's particularly large and complex. We do. I mean, when you look at our multi-centric urbanized area in Tampa Bay with Tampa and St. Pete and Clearwater and rapidly growing areas in Pasco County, it would be hard to argue that that is not large and complex. And that is why we have continued to have multiple MPOs designated in this urbanized area. But what I'd like to do is go over the federal and state expectations for urbanized areas and what our process has been for regional planning and coordination, because we've had a very long-standing and I think productive regional coordination process for more than a couple of decades with our neighboring MPOs. We have a formal interlocal agreement with them for planning. And so we can go over what that's looked like, our regional priority setting process, which then informs the priority lists for each of the MPOs in the urbanized area. And then finally, there was a study that was funded by the Florida legislature a few years ago of MPO, possible consolidation, what those steps might look like, how MPOs, other MPOs around the country are structured. And so we'll go over some of what that TBARTA, that was called a best practices study, what that TBARTA study looked like. So I would really like to invite our TMA representatives to join the policy committee next month to go through that refresher and have that conversation also with our policy committee members about where this governing board sees us going next organizationally. And then, one piece of good news. I really want to congratulate this governing board on all the leadership that you have shown with Vision Zero and with our crash statistics. The fact that we'd already gone through that process of a Vision Zero action plan and then follow-up studies of the high crash areas and what's feasible and what can be done right away. That's what teed up City of Tampa and Hillsborough County to win $40 million in construction funding. A lot of the other metropolitan areas around this country are still getting their action plans together. But because of the leadership of this board, that was already done, and your local governments who've worked hand in glove with us on this for many years, were ready to hit the ground running with a construction grant application and beat a lot of other communities around this country to the punch. A couple quick opportunities from the Florida MPO Advisory Council, which had its quarterly meeting last week. There is an orientation session for new board members that's going to be in Tampa on May the 6th. If you would like to participate in that and have the opportunity to talk with other elected officials from around the state about, what MPOs can do for them. So that is going to be Saturday, May 6th in Tampa. Let me know if you'd like me to register you for that. The April meeting of the MPO Advisory Council will be held with the Road User Charging Conference that's going to be in Miami, end of April. And in July, it'll be held along with the Floridians for Better Transportation Summer Camp. which will be in St. Petersburg this summer. Our representative to the MPO Advisory Council is Mr. Klug. I understand that he may have some conflicts on his calendar for those next couple of meetings, so we may be looking for other volunteers. So if you're interested in either of those two opportunities, please let me know. And then finally, I had promised to come back with you next month on our voting apportionment plan. I would suggest to you that that actually can wait another few months. We heard at that MPO Advisory Council meeting that the boundaries of the transportation management areas will be released over the summer. We don't have a specific date for that yet. But why don't we wait for those to be released, and then we'll come back to our apportionment plan in the fall.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. Hold on a second. Mayor Ross? Go ahead.
Yes, I just had a quick request, I guess. If, at the policy committee next month, if we're going to discuss the idea of an MPO merger, could you please get the committee members some information soon about that? You know, our meetings are an hour and a half long. It will probably take you the whole meeting to even explain the issue if we don't have time to prep before the meeting. We really need to save as much time for some healthy discussion so the presentation really needs to be as short. I mean, it has to be informative, but if we've done our background work first, it'll allow us more time to have good discussion so that we can speak intelligently to that for the whole board. In fact, you might want to share that information with the whole board because, you know, there might be people who don't have time to read it, but those that do will at least have it. That's a big, hairy issue. There's a lot to know, a lot to talk about, and so I'd also like to say that there's possible that we might not flesh that completely out of the policy committee in one meeting. I don't know. We'll have to see what the timetables are. But I also encourage my colleagues to please try to do the background, if you can, before the meeting so that we can kind of hit the ground running a little bit.
Thank you. Commissioner Kemp?
Yeah, I have concerns that this is up at this time, and I was concerned, you're saying you want the policy committee in person. Did you say you want the TMA to be here? I was totally confused about what you were saying about that.
So the TMA will be in Pasco. Pasco MPO is the host this quarter.
So that's nothing, you weren't saying anything to do with the policy committee.
Right. I was suggesting that we spend the policy committee meeting getting prepared
For the
TMA meeting that's later in the month. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if this is being driven by the TMA, but for one, we spent like 4 years on this. And it's not the first time, I understand, when I spent 4 years on this. And all three TPOs, MPOs, voted it down. Twice, I think now. But what I found was that the information that was presented was very one-sided, very much just pushing the mergers without any counter information. And so I'm just really concerned that this is being thrown like this right now. I don't think the TMA's desire should drive this. And I just think it doesn't need to, I just wonder about either anybody taking this up right now in this way. And, I don't understand what the policy committee will have next month. And I think it's really significant because to me, it's a real loss of our own, as Hillsborough County, a real loss of our power to make our own destination. And a loss of our decision-making to do this. And I'll just say, one of the things, just for the record, that I discovered in doing this, that our MPOs were set up by the federal government in the 1980s as a way for communities to impact decisions in their areas. what I found out, and they didn't offer this up at first, but once I was investigating, you'll hear a few things. One, you should know that all the much larger counties than us, or counties smaller than us, like 3 of them on the Panhandle, all have their own TPO, much smaller, and they're all together too, so they could merge, but they don't. Miami-Dade has its own TPO, along with Broward, along with Palm Beach. They don't merge, even though they have a very unified system. They don't do that because it would be a loss of their own ability to work for their area. You'll hear a lot about Jacksonville, Duval. Oh, they're merged. Well, they're a merged government, period. So, but that's just the county anyway. Duval. It's not a merger with another county. You'll hear about Orange County. Orange County has parts of Osceola and Seminole in it, but that was started in the 1980s because it was a single metro area that spread out, and when it was started that way to include those other areas as part of it when it was formed. In the entire history of MPOs nationwide, there has never been a merger of MPOs ever in the entire nation, but there has been divorces of ones that were originally started merged, but decided that in their own best interest they wouldn't be. So I just, because that took forever to find out, I want you to know that now, but I also think it's like premature to start this, and it being driven by the TMA, I just think that that's inappropriate for us to work on their timeline. We're the big county. We're the county with the most at stake here, 1.5 million people compared to Pinellas with 1 million and not growing. And I know parts of Pasco are growing, but I just want to say that I'm thinking that this process isn't really quite right for this to move forward in this posture, and I'm concerned.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Kemp. Commissioner Coyne?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'll get into, I'm going to come to the Policy Commission for this discussion next month, but the one thing I wanted to caution everybody about in this discussion is that there are definitely elements in Pasco and Pinellas County that would like to see this happen with each county having an equal number of votes. I have heard them say before that they would like to model the governance on Tampa Bay Water, where each of the counties has an equal number of votes. And I think that given our demographics, that is not something, that is just simply not something that we can allow to even take off as a discussion when this comes up. So I'm going to reserve my comments for the Policy Committee meeting, but I wanted to just plant in everybody's mind that that will be a subset of this discussion, and given the size of our county in relation to the others, as Commissioner Kemp was just saying, we need to be very careful about going down that road.
Okay. Hold on, Commissioner Owen.
I guess my question, Ms. Alden, is how quickly can we nip this in a bud? I kind of see the pleasure of the board here, and I don't want us to spend a lot of time on it. If I can tell you, for one, I've already got my mind made up, and it sounds like some other members do as well. So what is that process as far as how we would vote on this, or how quickly, I guess, could I say, could we take a vote on this issue?
That's a great question. So there are a lot of uncertainties right now, one of them being that one of the state representatives from Pinellas County has apparently filed a bill about MPO mergers. I have not, this bill is, I guess, still in drafting. I don't know if it's available yet for review. It's not super clear yet what it is that the legislature can actually do, because it is spelled out in state law how MPOs are designated. But I imagine the legislature is going to be looking at what carrots and sticks they might be able to use. So I would like to wait on giving you a recommendation for where to go from here, if possible.
Okay. Councilman Citro?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm going to go out on a ledge. At the last TMA meeting, let me digress, actions speak louder than words. And the words that we keep hearing over and over again is regional, 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 regional. Tampa, Hillsborough County, is the center, the hub in Central Florida for transportation, land, sea, and air. At the last TMA meeting, funds were asked for. Funds were actually begged for the maintenance facility for HART. Everybody was speaking regional, 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 regional. They voted that monies down. And then Commissioner Kemp and I made our point that no, we don't want to merge MPOs. I'm afraid we're going to lose our identity. I'm afraid we're going to lose our funding. And I'm afraid that, that others will have a grip on our transportation within the Bay Area.
Thank you. Mayor Ross, then I come.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just want to remind this board that the policy committee is a subcommittee of this board and does not decide what we do and don't do to bring to this board. And what I'm hearing here now is there doesn't seem to be any appetite for us to even have this. So if, in fact, I mean, the subcommittee serves this body, not the other way around. So if there's no appetite to do this, somebody tell us that and we won't.
Commissioner Kemp?
I could tell you that, but maybe, I'm wondering if it maybe should just be for our regular meeting rather than the policy committee, since there's this urgency of this. But I'd like to, just for clarification, it's excellent that you brought up that point, Councilman Citro. Just for clarification, they weren't even being asked to give money. We were just naming our priority projects so that they would be considered and known to be our priority projects as a county. And that was just one of the projects we had. And they intentionally pulled it and said, no, we don't want you to even recognize that as being your priority project, even though you've designated it. And that's what I find at the regional level as an advocate for Hillsborough County over and over and over again, just saying. But I think what we should do is just move this to our, I know it'll take our regular meeting, it'll just, you know, really, whatever else you have scheduled. But I think it's, if we're going to push this at the policy, it just seems like we should just schedule it for the regular meeting, that we should all have information if this is something you feel the urgency to do at this point, which I think that might be in order.
Here in the comments, that's what it sounds like. Just move it to the TPO meeting at 10. Thank you so much for your comments. Anyone else? I know we've talked about this. We're going to go on so we can stay on schedule. Any old business? Any new business? Before we adjourn, I do want to bring your attention to the two announcements that you can read on the agenda at the bottom. One for February 21st, the FDOT Job Fair and Business Expo and Work Development Initiative. And then the second is to save the date for March the 1st at 12 noon. The Planning Commission info, barbecue at Midtown Tampa, walking tour. Nothing else? Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.